Welcome to Hudson Institute. I'm Ken Weinstein, the Walter P. Stern Distinguished Fellow. Our focus today is defense transformation in Japan, examining the Liberal Democratic Party's recommendations. On April 27th, Japan's ruling Liberal Democratic Party's Research Commission on Security of Japan presented its national security proposal to Prime Minister Kishida. The path-breaking recommendations, which can be found online, seeks to strengthen Japanese defense capabilities in the face of a degrading international security environment, including recommending obtaining a counterstrike capability and aiming for a defense budget that is double current spending and equivalent to 2% or more of GDP. These recommendations, which were developed assiduously over 19 different committee meetings, are designed to inform the new government's highly awaited national security strategy, the upcoming national defense strategy, as well as the new defense program guidelines. And the findings have the potential to move Japan away from its traditional defense-only security posture. To outline the recommendations in the report, I am honored to welcome back to Hudson Institute a longtime friend, the Commission Chairman, and a two-time Defense Minister, Itsunori Onodera. After Onodera-sensei offers keynote remarks, we'll have a discussion with former State Minister for Foreign Affairs Masahisa Sato, himself the Director of the Foreign Affairs Division of the LDP, and former Minister of Justice Takashi Yamashita, the former Minister of Justice and the Chief Secretary of the LDP's project team for the relationship with Taiwan. I want to thank our friends at the Mount Fuji Dialogue for bringing this distinguished group to Hudson Institute. And Minister Onodera, the podium is yours. Thank you for addressing us in English.
Yes, thank you. So it is my great pleasure to see Dr. Weinstein and everyone at Hudson Institute after a long break. Dr. Weinstein and my colleagues and I feel still sorry that we cannot host a grand welcome party back in 2020. We have a standing reservation of the venue and hope that you will come to Tokyo again in the near future. The purpose of our visit to Washington this time is to exchange a view with U.S. officials on Japan's national security strategies and the newly submitted proposal by the Liberal Democratic Party. Prime Minister Kishida, who took office last year, stated that he would review Japan's national security strategy and related policies this year and would consider building up Japan's defense capabilities. In response to his decision, the LDP summarized its thoughts in the proposal and handed in to the Prime Minister last week. Please let me explain briefly about the main point of our proposal. First of all, in consideration of the severity of the security environment surrounding Japan, neighboring three countries, China, Russia, and North Korea, are listed as threats to Japan. Secondly, we recommend that Japan should drastically increase its defense budget within 5 years time frame. And Japan should focus on equipment and technologies that can respond to the current hybrid warfare. In this context, research and development in the new domain, like space, cyber, and electromagnetic spectrum, become critically important. In addition, we recommend that Japan should have counter-attack capabilities to enhance its missile defense. We can only accomplish those tasks by reinforcing Japan-US alliance. We would like to ask to the US for furthering cooperation with Japan. Russia's invasion in Ukraine has changed strategic thinking of Japan's policymakers. They conclude that Japan needs to improve its own defense capabilities and deepen its ties with allies. And those efforts should be advanced to a level that makes adversary sides believe that they cannot attack Japan. I'm speaking to you all with confidence that Japan is determined to keep East Asia peaceful region by working with the US. Thank you very much for your kind attention. I'd like to ask my colleagues to speak on our proposal. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Minister Onodera. Very much appreciate your remarks and your leadership of this important commission for the LDP. I'm delighted to welcome State Minister Sato and former Minister of Justice Yamashita at the Hudson Institute. Let me start with you, Diet Member Sato. The term that is getting the most attention in this report is, of course, Counterstrike Capability.
Thank you very much, Director. It's impossible to have to defend our country by the interception of the missile because of the missile technology improved a lot. So we should have counter-strike capabilities within framework with cooperation of the United States and Japan. We need some missiles, especially standard missiles, but it's very difficult to get targeting information by using satellite or UAVs. So we need a cooperation in the United States. So we enhance our capability of counter-strike capabilities, including missiles and cyber attacks or drone. But we need a step-by-step approach. But this is the terminology of counter-strike capability is a very, very political terminology because to avoid, we should avoid to misunderstand the preemptive attack against the enemy. Many Japanese people worry about this counter-strike capability include preemptive attack or not. So it's very, very critical. So that's the reason why we mentioned this terminology and not strike capabilities, just counter-strike capabilities. Is that?
Yeah, and let me turn to you. And as a former justice minister, there are obviously legal implications with regard to the notion of counter-strike capabilities. There are constitutional questions in Japan, there are legal questions. How do you see this playing out in the legal framework?
Okay, so first of all, thank you very much for inviting me. This one of the most prestigious institute, and I really admire your Dr. Weinstein. And so your question is, of course, under the Constitution, we stick to the defense-oriented defense. So, but that not means that we are waiting for long to being attacked at the risk of, at the cost of human life. Or so, and in those days, the range of the missile is very short. So, and we don't have to have a missile which might be reached to the territory of the attacking country. But so recently, for example, North Korea has a long-range missile. So to stop that missile, we have to have some capability to counterattack the missile site or something like that. So because I'm originally a prosecutor and specialize in penal code or criminal procedure, in the penal code, self-defense can be used. I mean, shooting their hand before they shoot gun, like a gunman. Yeah, but under the very strict interruption of the Japanese constitution, we are very, our interpretation is very, strictly, restricted. But so now we have to see the reality of the warfare, and in addition to that, we have the hybrid warfare, not only the military force, but also the non-military force, like a cyber attack or other measure. So we have to prepare for that. So all included the capability is the countermeasure, not preemptive attack, but countermeasure to prevent the cost of our nationals.
That's very clear. Let me shift gears a little bit. You are the head of the LDP's Commission on Relations with Taiwan, and was wondering Taiwan's role in this in the LDP recommendations and the direction of obviously we have now heard a number of Japanese officials say, both publicly and privately, that a Taiwan contingency is a Japan contingency. And I was wondering what your thoughts are on Japan's engagement in the case of a Taiwan contingency.
Yeah, okay, thank you very much. And actually, I'm not a head of the project team. I'm a chief secretary.
So chief secretary.
Yeah, head is Sato's hand.
Of the overall
He's my
team.
boss. But
but you're chief secretary of the Taiwan section, and you're the head of the Foreign Affairs
maybe
section.
later on, Mr. Sato will shows the map.
Sure.
And could you and map, but this is Taiwan has the two meanings. One is for the economic value, and the second is defense value. The one is the Taiwan is the manufacturer of the semiconductor, and so as far as high-end chips are concerned, the Taiwan produce maybe around 70% of the high-end chips. So if this island, if something happened in the island, so world global economy will be paralyzed. And second, for defense issue is Taiwan is now consists of the first island chain. And this is this position is very key, not only for the Japan but also for the U.S. Indo-Pacific force. Suppose this island flip to the red. Maybe it's now currently the submarine base is located in close to the Hainan Island. But China can move to the submarine base or other base to Taiwan, and that means the PLA directly. It's directly. Go to the West Pacific. So this area is very key to not only Japan but also United States. And the Taiwan Strait is the distance between Yonaguni and Taiwan. It's Okinawa. Yonaguni is Taiwan is narrower than Taiwan Strait itself.
Oh, wow.
And if Taiwan is being is attacked, that might affect this area, which means Japanese territory. So that's why personally thinking, and I suppose this is party's thinking that the Taiwan's contingency is Japanese contingency.
Sure.
It's not good pictures because I was military.
Sure.
We shoot overview from the enemy side.
Sure.
So for the continent of the an Asian continent, Japan chain of islands
Sure.
is a barrier
Sure.
for the China and Russia. So that means many naval base Qingdao or Ningpo, very very critical areas. This naval ship close to first island chain.
Sure.
They move to there in the Pacific Ocean.
Sure.
They should cross our territory. So to engage a U.S. Seventh Fleet or Pacific Fleet, these areas. That's why we should protect these areas. No, for the Chinese perspective, they would like to prevent and concentrate U.S.-Japan forces to Taiwan area.
Sure.
So if I'm a head of the military and forces, I ask North Korea to start some movement in the Korean Peninsula, and also ask to Russia
Sure.
to start some exercise in the Far East. At that time, U.S. forces Korea or some U.S. forces Japan should force to move or some to react this Korean Peninsula or Siberia areas. That means we decrease the number of forces against Taiwan areas. So we should concentrate on how enemy will act these areas. Moreover, do you know the Taiwan range? Taiwan range is close to east.
Sure. Sure.
So if Chinese would like to engage a short period, they will attack not only from the west, from the south, from the east. At that time, our territory is an engaged area.
Sure.
As Yamashita Sensei mentioned, the Bashi Strait,
Sure.
south of Taiwan, is critical for the United States.
Sure.
Chinese strategic submarine with SLBM cross this strait from South China Sea to Pacific region. So they can reach their missile against your continent.
Sure.
So that is why we are very important areas we should. So that is why Taiwan contingents would be, we are viewed as a Japanese contingent.
Well, you've raised a fascinating and very threatening scenario of Chinese action on Taiwan simultaneous to North Korean action against Japan and Russia as well, taking action in the Far East. And these three things are something quite worrisome and require significant U.S. and Japanese continued engagement. I want to thank both of you for coming to Hudson Institute, for speaking to us in English. It's a real honor to receive you. I want to congratulate you on the important LDP security recommendation report, and I look forward to welcoming you back here again to Hudson Institute to further these conversations. And I want to thank our friends at the Mount Fuji Dialogue for bringing you here. Yeah. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Please stay in touch with us. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Great.